Imagine you're diving over a quiet reef. Suddenly your eyes fall upon something bizarre, a strange creature whose legs seem many times larger than the rest of its body. It moves so slowly that it almost looks lifeless. At first glance, it appears harmless, almost fragile. Because this unusual creature is a predator, capable of consuming prey far larger than you would ever expect from something that looks so small and defenseless. Creatures armed with venom, teeth, claws, and tentacles. But one of the strangest animals in the sea has none of those things. Instead, it has something far more unsettling. A body that barely looks alive, long skeletal legs stretching outward in every direction, and an appearance so unnatural that many people assume photographs of it must be fake. The first time scientists showed images of this creature to the public, countless people thought it had been digitally altered, because surely nothing that looks like this could be real. But it is. And right now, while millions of people go about their day completely unaware of its existence, these animals are crawling across reefs, sponge fields, and polar seafloors all over the world, quietly, patiently, almost invisibly. The unsettling part isn't how it looks. The unsettling part is how little most people know about it. Because hidden inside that tiny body is one of the most unusual designs evolution has ever produced. An animal so strange that some of its organs extend into its legs. An animal that has survived mass extinctions, climate shifts, and hundreds of millions of years of change. And an animal that proves the ocean still contains life forms more alien than anything science fiction has imagined. This is the sea spider. And the deeper you look, the stranger the story becomes. 8 legs, a body so small most of its organs extend into those legs, and an evolutionary history stretching back hundreds of millions of years. Today we're going to change the way you see it, not by asking you to love it, not by pretending it isn't strange, but by showing you what it actually does in the ocean, why it looks the way it does, and why one of the weirdest animals on Earth is also one of the easiest to misunderstand. Let's start with the legs, because they are the first thing everyone notices, and they are the first thing most people get wrong. Sea spiders belong to a group of marine arthropods known as pycnogonids. There are more than 1,000 known species, and although their sizes vary dramatically, they all share the same basic design. Long legs, tiny body, almost no wasted space. In some species, the legs are so large compared to the body that the animal appears to be made almost entirely of legs. The effect is unsettling. Your brain expects proportions to make sense. The sea spider ignores those expectations completely. It looks unfinished, like nature forgot to add the rest of the animal. But those long legs are not an accident. They are the reason the sea spider has survived for millions of years in some of the harshest marine environments on Earth. Because the ocean floor is not flat, it is a maze, a landscape of coral branches, sponge forests, rocky crevices, seaweed beds, shell fragments, and hidden passageways. Every step requires balance. Every movement requires precision, and those long legs allow the sea spider to move through that underwater maze with remarkable efficiency. While many marine animals swim, the sea spider walks. Patiently, deliberately, one step at a time, across reefs, across kelp, across anemones, across surfaces that would be impossible for larger animals to navigate. And while it may not move with the speed of a hunting fish or the power of an octopus, it does not need to, because the sea spider is hunting something entirely different. Now let's talk about what it actually eats, because this is the part that changes everything. Most people see the word spider and immediately imagine an aggressive predator, something chasing prey, something building traps, something waiting to strike. The sea spider does none of those things. Its preferred menu consists largely of animals most people have never even heard of. Hydroids, bryozoans, soft corals, tiny sea anemones, Colonial organisms attached permanently to rocks, reefs, and underwater structures. These animals cannot run, they cannot hide, and many of them spend their entire lives anchored to the same location, which makes them perfect targets for a hunter built around patience rather than speed. The sea spider approaches slowly, almost invisibly. Then it extends a remarkable feeding structure known as a proboscis. This tube-like mouthpart acts almost like a biological drinking straw. The sea spider pierces the soft tissues of its prey and extracts nutrients directly from the body. No dramatic chase, no violent struggle, no explosion, just an incredibly specialized feeding strategy perfected over millions of years of evolution. And it performs this process constantly throughout marine ecosystems around the world, from shallow coastal waters to some of the deepest regions of the ocean, from tropical reefs to the freezing waters surrounding Antarctica. In fact, some of the largest sea spiders on Earth live in polar oceans. Their legs can span more than a foot across. Underwater, they look less like animals and more like moving pieces of alien machinery slowly crossing the seafloor. Yet even these giants remain completely harmless to humans, which brings us to the part of this story that most people never hear, and the part that matters most for your peace of mind. The sea spider is not dangerous. It has no interest in divers, no interest in swimmers, no interest in people of any kind. You are not its prey. You are not even remotely similar to its prey. The structures it uses for feeding evolved specifically for tiny, soft-bodied marine organisms, not for mammals, not for fish, and certainly not for humans. If you encountered one underwater, the animal's most likely response would be exactly the opposite of aggression: avoidance. Because to a sea spider, you are not a target. You are a moving mountain, a massive disturbance passing through its world. And just like countless other small creatures living on the seafloor, it would prefer that you continue on your way while it continues on its own. Now here is the piece of information I want you to remember, because it may be the most important thing in this entire video. The sea spider is not simply living in the ecosystem, it is helping maintain the ecosystem. Many of the organisms it feeds on grow continuously. Left completely unchecked, some species can spread aggressively across available surfaces, competing with neighboring organisms for space and resources. The sea spider acts as a natural regulator, quietly feeding, quietly balancing populations, quietly participating in a network of interactions that has existed long before humans ever looked beneath the waves. And because this work happens out of sight, almost nobody notices it. Divers notice sharks, whales, sea turtles, octopuses. The sea spider receives almost none of that attention, yet it continues performing the same ecological role day after day, year after year, generation after generation. Hidden beneath the surface, hidden beneath the headlines, hidden beneath the attention given to larger and more charismatic marine animals. And there is something else most people never realize. The presence of sea spiders can tell us something about the health of the environment around them. Because sea spiders depend on thriving communities of marine life. They depend on reefs. They depend on biodiversity. They depend on stable habitats capable of supporting the organisms they feed on. In many places, when marine ecosystems begin to decline, sea spider populations decline as well. The sea spider is not a warning sign of danger. In many cases, it is evidence that an underwater ecosystem is still functioning exactly as nature intended, which means that when we damage those ecosystems through pollution, habitat destruction, or climate-driven environmental change, we are not simply losing one strange animal. We are disrupting an entire network of relationships that took millions of years to develop. The sea spider is not an invader. It is not a monster. It is not a mistake. It is one of the ocean's specialists, an animal so perfectly adapted to its environment that every part of its bizarre appearance serves a purpose. Long legs, tiny body, anatomy unlike almost anything else on Earth. and a role in the ecosystem far more important than most people ever realize. The next time you see a photograph of one, resist the urge to focus only on how strange it looks. Look at what it represents. Millions of years of evolution, a perfectly balanced feeding strategy, a hidden world operating beneath the waves, and one of the most unusual creatures the ocean has ever produced. That is not something to fear, that is something to appreciate, even if appreciation, in this particular case, comes with the admission that it still looks completely alien. Have you ever heard of a sea spider before today? Or did you think it was some kind of underwater nightmare when you first saw it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if today was the day one of the strangest animals in the ocean became one of the most fascinating, then something just shifted in the way you see the underwater world. That shift is exactly what this community is built on. I'll see you in the next one.